Hi, my name's Allison, and in this video I wanted to share with you my list of what I want you to think about doing in an actual IEP meeting. The content of this video used to be part of a larger video which I've kind of chopped because I want you to be able to trust that my content is very focused. So I've decided to divide the two videos, and the first part is now a separate video, and it's called How to Prepare for an IEP Meeting. I honestly think that some of that content will make more sense if you watch this one as well, so if you haven't seen that one, please check it out. But let's just get started on what I think you need to think about in an IEP meeting. So when you go to the meeting, the first thing you're going to do is turn on your recording. And if you have an app on your phone, you might want to put it on airplane mode so notifications don't turn that off. Make sure that everybody around the table introduces themselves, have them include their title so that on the recording you clearly know everyone who is at the meeting. The second thing, make sure you sign the sign-in sheet for the meeting, and if they don't produce one, request a sign-in sheet and make sure that everyone around the table that participates signs the sign-in sheet, because it's documentation of the date and who participated in the meeting. The third thing I want to tell you is kind of a big deal. It's the first thing you need to establish is that who at the meeting will be taking the meeting notes. Since everybody's an equal standing member, it can be anyone, but it usually is someone from the school district. If you've ever been to an IEP meeting, you may have noticed that someone is over there typing away, sometimes right directly into a software, and they are taking the notes of the meeting. And it's really important that you establish that you are going to review those notes periodically throughout the meeting to make sure that all of your concerns are documented on the IEP. All your concerns and testing data needs to be documented on the present levels of performance of the IEP. So it's really important that you establish how those notes will be created and that those notes are a team effort. So that's the first thing that you need to figure out. Just make sure that your concerns, low test scores, evaluations, anything that you feel is important, even a teacher observation that's offered, that it is recorded on the present levels of performance part of the IEP. That's really important. So number 4 is, at whatever point in the meeting is appropriate, you will present your concerns and your observation for the team to discuss. That's why it's important to have your list. So go over your concerns and share your observations and ask the team their thoughts. Ask the general education teacher if they have seen what you're seeing or what their thoughts are about that. But make sure you go over and review your list of concerns and observations, and the important ones that you want noted on the IEP, make sure that happens. Number 5, in the meeting, I want you at the appropriate place talk about goals in the IEP. So this is when you get out your list of goals that you have for your child and discuss those goals with the IEP team. Perhaps one of those goals needs to be written into a goal in the IEP. Maybe it isn't currently there, so discuss that with the team. Also, I want you to ask the team if they feel that the goals as written will help your child make measurable progress by the end of the year. I specifically want you to ask them if the team believes that the goals as written are SMART goals. What I mean by SMART goals is that they are specific, measurable, they are written with action verbs, they are realistic for your child, and they are time limited. So it's really important that you make sure that those goals are SMART goals for your child. Another thing that I want you to understand about a goal is it needs to show what the expected criteria is for a change in performance. So in other words, how many, what rate. It has to be written in the goal what it is that the team is looking for in order to show progress. Goals cannot be some broad umbrella statement. They have to be specific and meaningful, and that is why the SMART goal acronym is really important. So number 6, ask the team specifically what program they're using and what instruction they're using to help your student make progress on each goal. Ask them where it is occurring, what time of day, how long they do this. Ask them what kind of data they're collecting. And in fact, ask them to send you copies of the data. Often staff will sit in meetings and say that your child is doing great. Well, that's wonderful, but I want to see the data that demonstrates that my child is doing great. So ask for that and even ask that a copy of that be placed in your child's educational record. And again, if you make a request, it has to be in the meeting notes. So anything you request, make sure that you add that to your list. And speaking of requests, number 7, this is when you go to your list of requests and make sure that the team has an opportunity to discuss all of your requests, whether it's an accommodation or it's to add a paraprofessional to the classroom to assist your child. Whatever your request is, make sure that you let the team know what those requests are. And it's really important to use the word request because you are requesting it. You're not simply bouncing an idea off them. If you are requesting it, you have to make clear that it's a parental request. And at that time, go through your list and again, make sure that all your requests are recorded in the meeting minutes so that it's documented that you did make those requests. You can even request further evaluations. If you have an area of concern and you feel like the previous evaluations didn't really do a deep dive into that area of need, you can request an additional evaluation. If the school-based team denies your request, you can also request an independent educational evaluation at the school district's expense. Number 8, if the school district brings a document to the meeting and you decide that it's lengthy enough that you need time to read it, such as an evaluation or something a bit longer, then you can request that the meeting reconvene after such time you've had an opportunity to read the document. It isn't appropriate for them to just spring some long document on you. You are a full participant and you can't fully participate unless you've read the document. So you make a note for the record that you're requesting to reconvene after you've read whatever document that is, whether it's a draft or evaluation, and move on with the meeting to the other parts for efficiency, but you can request that the meeting be reconvened. You need to be given an opportunity to read documents that have been brought to the meeting. Number 9, at the end of the meeting, make certain that you check the IEP document to ensure that all of your concerns, your observations, your questions, and your requests are fully documented on the IEP. That's really important. Number 10, make sure that you get a copy of the IEP before you leave the meeting. It's really important. Do not leave that room without them printing out a copy of the IEP as drafted by the team. And this is really important because in my personal experience, the school district has changed the IEP after the meeting, and it's a good thing you have a copy because you can show that this is what the team wrote and this other thing that was created afterwards is not what we decided. So it's really, really important that you do not leave without a copy of what was drafted by the team. And the last thing, remember that list of requests that you had for an evaluation or additional services, whatever it is that you've been requesting during the course of the meeting. If the school district refused your request, then I want you to let them know that you are requesting a prior written notice with regard to those refusals. So it's 3 little words. I've done a separate video on this. Prior written notice. It's really important. Let them know that you're requesting a prior written notice with regard to the requests that you've made during the meeting. That is one of the most important tools that parents have, and I want you to know about that. And then after the meeting, follow up with an email. It's really important to document, and if there was things in the meeting that were noteworthy, then make note of those things you observed, concern that you have, things that you requested, anything that the school had stated that was a concern to you, things that you think are important to note. So do that. And then, very important, make sure that you reiterate in writing that you've requested a prior written notice with regard to the specific requests that you've made. So it's really important to put it in writing, because if it's not in writing, it didn't happen, which is really sad, but that's the truth. So you need to document and make those requests. So that's my list. That would be my short list. I guess it really wasn't that short. You're going to be a great advocate for your child. Good luck and have a great meeting. My name's Allison. Thanks for watching. I'm going to be uploading more videos, so feel free to check those out. And I want to help you become a great advocate for your child.